Thanks for tuning in to this episode. We got a lot of things going on here. Basically, well, a lot of one thing, which is from the fuel filter and back. I'm going to replace everything except for the fuel lines. And includes the fuel pump, new fuel tank, new fuel filter. So I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but so in this episode I'm going to be dropping the fuel tank and replacing that pump. The old tank is rusty. I think it's been my main culprit with some rough running and with the fuel cut off and on while driving. I had an incident and on the road, and I would hopefully that doesn't happen ever again. So so we're going to drop that tank, and we'll see how nasty it is, and put a new one in, and replace that pump as well, and the filter. And one important step is to blow that fuel line out, the line, the feed line. You gotta blow it back out. That way, that way you remove any clogs and things like that might have occurred. Also, after we replace everything, I'm going to be doing a test drive and see how it runs. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that. So, thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoy. All right, here's the two fuel tanks together, and so anyways, I just wanted to do like a kind of a side-by-side comparison. They look pretty similar. Even right down to the lines right here. You got that pad. This one does look a little taller though. You can see. It's hard to tell like this, but you can see it is a little bit taller. So I don't know how that's going to affect things. But I don't think it should be too bad. And my main concern is the nozzle, the filler neck here. It looks a little bit different, so I don't know if the way it mounts, if it's going to fit better, or how it is. So basically, what I need to do is just do a little test fit and make sure that that nozzle lines up. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, here's what it looks like with it installed as it is. Looks good. Fit nice and snug. And the nozzle, as you can see right here, nice and easy. I put the grommet in there, and it fits just fine. At first this was a little bit low. The nozzle was a little bit low, like almost touching this lip, but then I just pulled it up and bent it up just a little bit, so it kind of centered it in that hole better. So yeah, it looks good. So it looks like I'm going to be able to take this out. Obviously I'm not going to just leave it like this, because I don't want it to rust up again like the old one. Well, the old one was mainly rusted on the inside. It wasn't rusted on the inside. The outside, they rubber coated it, so they did a good job protecting it that way. But the inside was just rusty from just sitting too long. Before I bought the car had been sitting for like almost 10 years. So from what I understand, anyways. So I imagine with it being empty, all that gas in there was, or whatever remains of the gas was pretty nasty, and it didn't help the cause of keeping it rust free. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down, and I'm going to put some rubber coating on it to help protect it from the road debris, and that should be we'll move to the next step. Okay, here I am in the backyard. Got the fuel tank all ready to be painted. First, what I'm going to do though is, because this is kind of slick right here, instead of just painting a well, hang on a minute. Let me show you first what I'm going to. Here's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to use this cheap rubber undercoating that I got. You can get this from Harbor Freight. That's like $5 a can. Actually works pretty good, but it kind of has a rubberized texture to it. So I'm going to ultimately paint the gas tank with that. But first I'm going to put a coat of primer on it first, so it'll have something to stick to. I think it would probably be fine without it, but I just want to do it just in case, because the metal is really slick, kind of slick, and so I wanted to just make sure that that's going to stick on there and it's not going to like peel off, you know, later on. So I think the best way to do that is maybe just put a coat of primer on there. Also, there was like some grease. They had kind of put a coat of grease on the whole tank to keep it from rusting while it was in storage. So I had to take a rag and soaked it with acetone, and it just came right off. So you know, that's another step that had to be done. So this is what I'm going to do. Oh, and I checked this out for the fuel cover here. I had this little magnet. It fits perfectly on there like that. It's like a nut and bolt dish, magnetized dish. Got that from Harbor Freight as well. And I used the old gasket here because I got a new one with the gas tank, and used the old gasket and just put a couple bolts in there, and hopefully that'll be good enough. So all right, let me have at it. Okay, here's the first coat of primer. Just doing the top half first, and then I'm going to flip it upside down and do the bottom half after I do everything. So now that I've let this dry a little bit for about 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of the rubberized undercoating on. All right. And now that I think about it, I really don't even need to do the top as far as the rubberized coating goes. The primer is good because it'll protect it from rust, but the rubberized coating, I really don't need to do the top because it's going to be pretty much sheltered from any type of debris. But I'm going to do it anyway, just for uniformity, and in case that, you know, that odd stone or whatever decides to jump up and put a nice little chip in the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and do, you know, a light go around here. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and set this fuel pump up. Here's the old one. Well, it's actually the fuel pump is actually pretty new. I just kind of ruined it though with with the rust. As you can see, here's the sock. And this thing was covered with rust. This thing was covered with rust, and I'll show you a picture of it here when I first took it out of the tank. And I just kind of cut it open to kind of see what was in there because I was kind of curious. And a lot of rust fell out as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace the fuel pump. It's just a cheap one from Rock Auto, and yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and wire that up. But first I need to take care of a few things, like here the fuel pump fuel cinder, the ground here. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go ahead and drill these rivets out, and I'll go ahead and drill this one out as well and replace it with the new terminals. And yeah, I guess that's it. So hopefully I'll go ahead and leave this one up here. It's still in good shape. But let's see here, we got the drill ready. That one. Okay, I'm about ready to put this fuel pump in. As you can see, I went ahead and rewired this ground right here. This was a ground, and actually I took a closer look at it, and it was on the factory terminal. It had bent, this wire had bent down, and it was actually like halfway gone. So glad I took a closer look at that, because that actually could have been my main issue right there, just a grounding problem on the fuel pump. But anyways, I went ahead and riveted that ground and put a new terminal on there, and should be good to go right there. And now I'm going to go ahead and install this fuel pump. Okay, these little bits came with it: a hose, this little spacer for the bottom. Of course, you got your new strainer. You should always get one of these. Fits nicely right here, just like that. Push it all the way down. Alright, and this little goes just like that. It actually keeps this plastic thing, or the sock, from falling off. So definitely that's important. And go ahead and get this in place on the cinder. It has a pretty tight fit. As you can see, there's not a lot of room there for the hose. So basically what I did was I just cut this little bit right here. I'm going to go ahead and put the hose on where it needs to go. Put it on. Go all the way down in there. Go ahead and put our clamps in place. Okay, I'm going to put this one up on this right there. Okay, that clips in on the bottom there, or slides in place, I should say. And you want to slide this down to make it tight. Let me go ahead and put this clamp in place. Alright, now we got our positive terminal in front. Alright, I almost didn't have enough wire there because I didn't measure very well, so I got kind of lucky, I guess. So let me go ahead and tighten this down. Terminal down first, block washer, and then nut. Okay, I forgot to press the record button again, but basically I just riveted this part right here, tightened this, riveted that, and this is the power. You know, it comes up through, and this is insulated, and this goes to the harness. Alright, so I'm going to do my ground now on the back side of the pump. Okay, I got my ground wire. I'm going to go ahead and install it onto the fuel pump. Okay, I've got the terminals tightened down. I'm just going to rivet it to the back. Oopsie. Let me tear up my sock. Just like that. Okay. That's good. Alright, there it is. Nice and secure. Riveted in place, all ready to go. Alright guys, I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment here. As you can see on the back of this fuel line, I got this, that's the feed line. I got it basically, this hose attached to it going into this bucket. Clean this bucket up pretty good. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the fuel filter up front in the engine bay, and I'm going to blow it with some air. I'm going to put some fuel cleaner in there and blow air through the line to see if there was any rust in that line, and we'll see how dirty it got and see how well the last sock held up and did its job. So let me go ahead and do that, but let's go ahead and remove the fuel filter up front. Take this. Sorry you can't see very well, but that's the fuel filter right there. I'm just going to use a little impact wrench to get it off. That was smart. I should have had a rag or something up here because the gas just poured everywhere. But what are you going to do? Alright, after I made a big mess with gas everywhere, down there anyways, it should evaporate though. I went ahead and connected a hose to that fuel line, and I'm going to now blow it using the air right here, and hopefully we'll see how rusty that gas was. And it was from the filter, from the way the filter looks, it was pretty bad. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and dump some of this down the line for whatever reason. Maybe it'll help clean something out, I don't know. I have no idea what the other end looks like on in the bucket right now, so here goes. Wow. Yeah, let's see what happened here. I think basically I probably just made a big mess. The first time the hose flew out of the bucket here and got all over everything. You can see gas kind of went where it wasn't supposed to go, but here's the fuel stabilizer. It's not too bad. Let me leave you back here for a minute. Alright, well that wasn't too exciting, but let me show you how the fuel filter looked. Can't really, okay, see right here? There's what's coming out of the fuel filter. Pretty rusty, nasty stuff. See all that? Coming out of the top side, it actually was not as dirty as this, but this fuel filter probably maxed out, you know? Coming out of the top side, it was definitely a lot cleaner than this. I wouldn't be surprised if I have to clean my fuel injectors later on, but I'm just going to roll with this, and I'm going to put some fuel injector cleaner in the tank, and hopefully that'll be good enough. So let me install this new fuel filter. And here's the new one. Let me install this one, and then we can go ahead and finally install the tank. Alright, here's the new fuel tank. Isn't she a beaut? Alright, so now it's time to install the fuel pump. Cinder. And let's see, I guess it's going to go like this inside. Might be a little tricky getting this in. Oh, well damn. Well, I tell you. Okay, here's how I ultimately had to do the fuel pump. The ground wire, I had to go around this other side, the same side that this down tube is on. This is the drain, I believe. Yeah, that would be the drain from the recirculating fuel. Alright guys, next day here. Sorry I ran out of battery on my phone right when I was putting in the gas tank. But you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, anyways, if you need to know how to install the tank and the lines, I actually have a video from way back when, from a couple years ago, and I'll leave a link in the description here if you you know, want to see that. But it's pretty easy. All right, here is the filler tank area. Everything looking good. Flash on so you can see it better. Sorry for the glare off that centerpiece, but yeah, the cap goes on pretty good. Let's see. Forgot to put that thing on. Shuts. Alright. So now I'm going to put in the fuel level cinder, which is that piece. So let me pop this trunk open. We'll get to that. Here we are inside the trunk. I went ahead, this is back a few weeks ago, I put this sound deadener in the trunk area to kind of help quieten things down. Turned out pretty good. Doing the wheel well was a little challenging, but ended up making it work. And right here I just got kind of down to the spares, so I just kind of threw it in there. I'm gonna put, you know, some carpet or like a what do you call it, all-weather mat down here when I get the spare tire in, and get a cover for that. I also did the wheel well areas right there, and then I'll probably put some carpet over that or some vinyl. So, but back to this. Going to install. Oh shit! Yeah, don't want to forget that. That's the fuel pump. And when you remember to, I gotta remember last time when I installed the old tank, this wire was like lost down somewhere, so I had to like take it back down and find this wire again. So make sure that, or I guess whenever, if you were to do this job like this, kind of get to where you can get to this wire, because if you lose it, then it's going to be really hard to recover, you know, because you only got this little hole to work with right here. I wonder why they made this hole and not one for the fuel pump, because it would be a lot more convenient to have a hole for the fuel pump instead. But you know, who knows. I almost thought about cutting an access panel, maybe right here wherever the fuel pump would be. I think it's right here. This looks like the raised area where you know, where the fuel lines and stuff are. So, but I was so close to doing it, but I was like, I don't know if I want to cut up my car or not. But because I did it with Firebird, a 2002 Pontiac Firebird, and because with that car you have to drop the entire exhaust system, and it's just a pain in the ass. So a lot of people make that little access panel, and it makes the job a lot easier. So anyways, sorry, I got sidetracked yet again. Let me go ahead and take this off here. This is the old one. With the new, they supplied a new gasket and new bolts. So that was nice of them. So there we go. Look inside that tank. Brand spanking new. Oh, look, you can see the pump. Yeah, see, it's got that baffle around it. That'll help keep it submerged while going around corners and things like that. Let's try it again. Alright, I'm going to try to start it up. I guess I'll take you towards in the interior. I put about 2 gallons of gas in there from 93 octane. So let's try this out. So hopefully nothing catches fire. Here we go. Probably got to take a second for the fuel to get up to the. Probably got to take a few moments to get up to the fuel rail here. Here we go. Try it again. Here we go. I think it's going to do it this time. Alright, engine running. Let it warm up and then see how it feels. The car seems to be running good, running a lot better. Good. You know, I guess I'll just have to wait and see though, because it kind of like the last time when the car was acting up, it was like after a while, after the car had been driving the car for a while, about an hour's worth, and then it started acting up. So I'll have to wait and see. But for now, on a little stint here, the car seems to be running nice and smooth. Besides a little bit of gear whine on the back from the differential, but got a few vibrations up here too. It's kind of annoying. But 4th gear right now. My speedometer is off a little bit because of the rear end. The speedometer is about 5 miles per hour slow. So right now I'm going about 45. I'm in 4th gear. And it seems like right in this range on the RPMs, it kind of makes the most noise as far as vibrations go. Up here in the front. I don't know if that's just the dash overlay or what that is. Pretty annoying. But just driving down the back road here. Here comes a bump. There we go. I adjusted the rear suspension because when I was going over like bumps and stuff, it was set at the softest setting allowable on the AGX KYB AGX shocks. So I adjusted it to to level 4, which is about a little bit less than midway, I think, on the stiffness, and it doesn't bottom out. Like before, it was bottoming out because it was so soft, but now it's a lot better. I should probably turn my AC off and do that. Oh well. Yeah, there's not a lot of power, but it sounds pretty good. I don't even know what the speed limit is here. Well guys, I guess that's going to do it, man. I got the fuel tank installed with a new fuel pump, new fuel filter, new everything, you know, up until after the fuel, until I guess I should say from the fuel filter and back. Everything is new except for the lines. But yeah, everything worked out good so far that I could tell. So I'll let you know if I have any other issues, like always. Hopefully I won't. But yeah, I hope you guys were able to stay all the way through. Again, like always, thank you for all the support. If you feel like making a comment or whatever, go ahead, you know, feel free. I like to see and hear what you guys have to say. You know, thumbs up and subscribe. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm glad that I finally got the fuel system, fuel tank cleaned out. You know, I got the new fuel tank, and I definitely needed to do that. I should have done that from the beginning, but at first I wasn't going to put hardly any money into this car. But if you guys know, you know, restoring cars, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to not put money into it because you fall in love with these cars. And this one is no exception. But anyways, like coming up pretty soon, I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going, after I get in alignment, I'm going to do a whole walkthrough on the car, what's been done to it, and looking back on some of the videos and what I had some difficulties, some key moments, just the little things like that. Try to highlight the little stuff. And so anyways, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and you guys have a good evening. Thank you for watching again.